If this is your first time joining me, I'm here to share information and resources that can help you get started with building wealth. As always, before I get started, I have been making sure to put my website into the comment thread. So in case you want to check me out, learn a little bit more about the movement, this will be the greatest resource you can find about all that I'm working on. So make sure I pin this. All right, so the topic for this session is indexed universal life insurance. And I wanted to come on here and talk about this specific policy because of some information that I received about it is one, but it's the outreach that I get from people when they come across this product. So this product is a type of permanent life insurance. So there are a lot of permanent life insurance, like policies, and an index universal life, or it's known as an IUL, is it's a very popular one, but it's just one of many options that you have when you think about getting permanent life insurance. And so let me kind of make the distinction between like term insurance and permanent. Now, an IUL is a type of permanent, but term insurance is like you rent. Like you rent an apartment, you have some place to stay. When you leave, that's it. Like you don't get anything for renting the apartment. That's kind of like term insurance. Term insurance covers the need for a specific period of time. So if you go past, let's say it's 20 years, then you don't have any more life insurance. So it's great. It serves the purpose. It's cheap. It's affordable. Now, what some people will tell me is that, well, Jasper, I don't want to rent my whole life. I want to own a house, which is what most people want, right? You rent until you can afford to own a property. So the same thing with your insurance is that at some point you graduate from the term insurance, but then you have a permanent policy. Now, an IUL or an index universal life has some different features that makes it one of the most popular. Now, I'm not going to go into a long, drawn-out educational session on IULs because I want to make a point around why I'm doing this specific permanent policy. Now, it's a good option. But what I found is that a lot of people that I've been running into have heard of the IUL or an insurance agent has pitched it to them. Now, I like the product, right? It's a good product, but the problem that I'm seeing is that people are running into insurance agents who are only showing them this option. So I meet people who've never talked about insurance who will hit me up and say, somebody just told me about an IUL. What do you know about them? Are they legitimate? Is this a scam? It's not a scam. These are real policies. It's just I know the people who's pitching them the most. It's the transactional insurance agent. And by transactional, I mean they're not necessarily trying to do a full-blown financial plan for you. What they're trying to do is figure out a price point that you're comfortable doing, and then they just show you an IUL policy. That's more than likely what you're running into when somebody says, I don't really know about insurance, because they've been pumping like a specific product, which hurts the person in some regards, because when I talk to people about life insurance in general, the most important thing, which is number one, is how much death benefit, like how much actual protection, how much actual life insurance do you need? That's the first thing. The first thing they should ask you. Even some of the best insurance agents who just do insurance usually start off with that question. But the problem is the people who are selling these IUL policies, they don't have that conversation. I'll say, kind of give you all the benefits and features of this product and then figure out how much you can do. And then they're trying to sell you that policy. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I think they can go a little bit deeper and really find out how much insurance you actually need and not just say, I think you should get this IUL because of all these bells and whistles. That's the problem that I'm seeing with some professionals in my industry where we're just pumping the product. And so there are some agents who, they won't even talk about term insurance. They won't even talk about how much death benefit you need. They'll sell you on this, flexibility of premiums, tax-free money, retirement, all these great things that insurance policies can do. But the most important thing, and just I'm going to say it again, the most important thing when dealing with life insurance is figuring out how much. What type of policy you get should be second. But I know I live in America. I know how people love selling products, and people hate being sold too. But the one thing that keeps popping up when it comes to life insurance is somebody tried to sell me an IUL. It keeps happening. It's going to keep happening. So first, how much do you need? Second, you figure out the type. And so the problem I have with the people who are just pushing IULs down people's throats is because I've had some personal experiences with friends, also other clients of mine who I saw the policy. It was an IUL, and it was a very awfully put together policy. All permanent life insurance policies are not created equally. So even if they sell you on the bells and the whistles and all the benefits of the policy, you actually want to see if you're going to have life insurance for your whole life, because it's a permanent policy. And so on one occasion, a good friend of mine had one of these IULs, and I asked to see what's called an in-force ledger. And so what this does, it shows me what the policy will do in the future. It'll like project out. It's an illustration, so it's not perfect, but there was a very scary thing that I found when I was doing my homework as his advisor. Again, I tell people I'm an advisor, I'm a financial planner, and I just so happen to sell product. Like I sell insurance, I can do securities. But the point is, I'm a real advisor, planner, not just the guy trying to sell you an IUL. So on this occasion, his IUL was essentially going to blow up, meaning he would have no life insurance at the age of 53 unless he put in a crazy amount of premium. And I mean well above what he was paying into the policy. And so again, he had been sold an incredible, I guess, agent, salesperson, great mouthpiece, sold him this policy on all the bells and whistles of the IUL. It was great. He got sold. We laughed about it. Yeah, it was a great idea. But if this was actually going to be insurance that was going to protect your family, who's to say at 53 he was going to be able to afford that premium payment? And it was outlandishly high, like crazy high. So that to me said, I have to do more to educate my people and everybody that I come into contact with, that when you come across the person who just shows you an IUL, the first thing you should say is, well, why didn't you ask me how much insurance I actually need? And maybe that's not how the conversation started, but if I'm going to sell you insurance, the first thing that I'm always going to ask is, how much do you need? That's it. If you aren't approached by anybody who sells insurance or a financial planner, a financial advisor, if they don't ask you that first, they're just going for the sale. Now, again, I know salespeople exist. They're not going to go away. But as the average person, the consumer, I need you to understand that these policies can be a great benefit to your overall financial planning strategy. But the key thing you want to remember is get the right amount of death benefit. Like, it's life insurance. It's going to pay out when you die. Somebody's going to get tax-free money. And that's the main thing. But then there are also these alternatives on how you can utilize these policies to help you to create a more robust retirement, right? There's some of that tax-free nature of these things later down the line. And again, these policies, if you do them right and structure them properly, very good tool. And if I had to go out on a limb and say, well, should everybody have a permanent life insurance policy in their overall plan? Absolutely. Now, I don't care whether that's an IUL, a UL, a VUL, a whole life, and there are others. And so when I say permanent life insurance, like permanent is the category, and just know IUL is just one of them. There are many different types of policies that you can get on the permanent side. But again, don't get so caught up in just the solution right there. Death benefit, solution next. Just remember that. So my people who are also selling IULs, can you at least make sure the people have enough life insurance? And then after that, you say, well, here's another idea on how people leverage this as a wealth building tool. Because I myself have quite a bit of permanent life insurance, not an IUL, I have other types. But I think everybody should have some type of insurance in their program. Everybody. But first, you got to make sure you have enough to protect your family if you die, protect your assets if you were to die, pay off that mortgage if you were to die. Like, there's certain things you should have insurance for. And then once you satisfy those like basic requirements, then you get to the fun stuff. That's when it gets fun. But if you haven't taken care of the most important stuff first, once you like hit the pause button, and even if the person like reached out to you and was trying to sell you on this idea, just have more dialogue around why did you lead with this specific product, knowing that there are other permanent policies on the market, and make them work for you. If they are your advisor, your planner, or even just your insurance agent, their job is to answer your questions. They want to sell you something. Let's get past the sell aspect. Let's just see, is this a good fit? And if so, make sure it fits your situation perfectly. So the other rub on this IUL thing with some of these insurance agents is they sell them to everybody. And that's my other, I hate sharing it, but there are just some agents who, whether you were 50 years old or 25 or 40, they'll sell you the exact same policy. That's the unfortunate part of you not working with the actual advisor, because sometimes you just won't know. And I've, again, come across these scenarios where somebody was like, yeah, they sold me this policy. And I was like, that policy sounds very familiar. And it was somebody who was, old, young, mid-career professional. Like, I just kept finding that it was the same type of policy. And so I did my homework. I figured out the problem. And all I try to do as an advisor, as a planner, as like the guy who's going to keep it real with you, is I do my part to educate myself about what the market is also doing, in addition to what I'm presenting to my clients and prospective clients. And so, again, I think the Index Universal Life Insurance policy is an incredible vehicle if it's sold the proper way. I just don't think the average consumer will ask enough questions from that agent. And if they do, great, you got a nice policy. But I wouldn't want that policy to blow up like the one that I saw with my good friend. And so just be very mindful when you're having these conversations. Ask a lot of questions. And if you still find yourself really not sure about like how you're supposed to go about it, hit me up. I'm ready. Schedule a 15-minute phone call with me and let's get rocking. All right, so before I finish up, I want to start to kind of close up these sessions now and remind people that I have a YouTube channel and I'm sharing some insights on, you can call it like my diary. Like, I love sharing stories about like what people tell me. And so they're called BuildWealth Observations. So there's a link in my bio to head over. They're all super short. Like, you literally get through all of them in an hour. Like, I have a lot more to post, but I want to start sharing more of these stories around like certain product things, certain like stories and people that I've encountered throughout my career as a financial services professional. So feel free to head over to my YouTube channel and check out these observations so you can kind of listen to more stories around people that I've encountered in my career. And I think you will be able to relate to a lot of these. Or maybe you know somebody in your family, maybe it's a coworker, but maybe you'll start to see that I've been at this for a very long time. And so again, as I'm finishing up here, please check out my YouTube channel when you get a chance. It's the BuildWealth Observations is what I've been posting lately. I got some other ideas that I haven't shared just yet, but please check it out. The link's in my bio. The BuildWealth Observations, they are short and sweet, but just see if you can relate. Some of them you might feel like I'm talking to you directly, and just let me know what you think. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know, because I want to keep trying to share more stories so that way you believe the stuff. And I'm coming on here and telling you like what to do. I'm not telling you I'm not pulling it out of my pocket. This is years and years of experience, and it's hearing the same stories over and over. So this Index Universal Life Insurance story, it's old news to me, but there's so many insurance agents who keep just pumping this one product, and nothing I can do about that. But what I can do is keep coming on here and trying to share stories and information and educate you about what the game is like, and then leave it up to you to decide what's best for your financial situation. All right. So with that, I'll catch you all next time. See you later.